Now the premiere titles for next week on Filmnet. On Monday, it's Romance with Eric Portman and Edana Rome in Corridor of Mirrors. Tuesday, Fear in the Night. Just recovered from a nervous breakdown, a girl is attacked by a man. Joan Collins and Judy Geeson in Fear in the Night. On Wednesday, it's Loot, an offbeat black comedy based on Joe Orton's hilarious and controversial play, starring Richard Attenborough and Lee Remick. Thursday night, it's Drama with Kenneth Haig and Nanette Newman in Man at the Top. On Friday, The Vols, an exciting account of adventures and misadventures of 4 beautiful young girls. On Saturday, Peggy Sue Got Married, a great comedy from Francis Coppola with Kathleen Turner and Nicolas Cage. And Sunday, Monty Python live at the Hollywood Bowl, with John Cleese and Graham Chapman in this hilarious production. It's Filmnet, your favorite movie channel.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special occasion. Now, if you'd be so kind as to lower the lights a little and bring the chairs up nice and close to the TV set, we'll get started. In case you didn't know, Los Angeles is haunted, and tonight we're going to do our best to scare you with a few little ghost stories. If you remember, last November, we took you on an eerie walk through the Westwood Cemetery, and an unexplained ghostly image appeared before our cameras.
There's a lady keeps appearing to me over there, and she has a rather tight-fitting red dress. Quite who she is, I'm not sure.
Was it real, or were our eyes playing tricks on us? Well, tonight, several noted experts examined the evidence.
All I saw was a little flaring of light.
That's all that was seen.
I have individual still photographs that show very much the same thing. I'm very impressed by that footage.
We'll return to the gravesite tonight with psychic Hamilton Farmer in search of the elusive ghost in the red dress. And then we'll discover that Hollywood hauntings are anything but new. We'll visit a local apartment complex with some ghostly tenants that refuse to vacate. And with Cynthia Allison, we'll spend an eerie evening at the Maskers Club, a Los Angeles theater that attracts spirits of actors who refuse to take their final bow.
All you have to do is walk through the doors on any night, and the walls will talk to you.
I'm Chuck Henry. We have all this tonight, plus a few surprises, as we put a ghostly eye on haunted Hollywood. What is going on in this Westwood Cemetery?
I felt her presence here. I felt warm. I felt she was here. As a matter of fact, I know she was here.
One minute, I'd be seeing something, and then the next minute it would go away because of the lights. And then for a second, I smelled something that smelled like my great-grandmother.
Everybody loves a mystery, but they're hard to find these days. Last November, we encountered a mystery in a cemetery in Westwood we still can't explain. It all started during an interview with psychic Hamilton Farmer. Soon, strange things began to happen.
There's a lady keeps appearing to me over there, and she is dressed in more or less the looks like the 20s or that era. She has a rather tight-fitting red dress, about 3/4 length. I believe they called them something like the hobble skirt, and a band round here with a feather sticking up. Quite who she is, I'm not sure.
Hamilton directed us over to a tree where he said we could get a closer look at the apparition. And then the camera began to pick up something strange.
Right now?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Up and down, down,
yes.
up,
yes.
down,
yes.
up, down. Tell me
yes.
when it's going.
What was it? We decided to find out. Parapsychologist Thelma Moss thought we had picked up an apparition.
I have had people bring me pictures that have been taken at cemeteries, at the grave of someone they love very much, and you get this strange kind of fogging effect. And when you showed me what you got when you went to visit the Westwood Cemetery, I would say it's very much what I have on individual pieces of film. I don't have any movie of it, no television of it, but I have individual still photographs that show very much the same thing. I'm very impressed by that footage.
We decided to revisit the cemetery, but we weren't alone. We were joined by a family who had contacted us after seeing our first program. They thought that the woman in the red dress might be their relative.
I was watching TV with an eye in LA when you had brought Hamilton Farmer to a graveyard. I just saw that it was a psychic in the graveyard. And I was watching it, and the graveyard looked familiar. The tree where he saw the pulsing fog looked like the spot where my grandmother's memorial bench was at that graveyard, and it seemed to match up with the person he had seen here. My grandmother was a very vivacious person. She was very well liked. She just had a lot of charisma and personality, and people really were drawn to her. She was very friendly and open, and my whole family said if anybody could come back, it would probably be her.
The family stood with Hamilton by the tree, and they, but not our video camera, saw and smelled something strange.
Smell what? Smell. Something changed, I agree, in the smell. Something changed in the smell in the air, don't you think?
What was it?
I believe I saw something there. They was there. I felt her presence here.
There was a smell that wafted by that smelled like her perfume a couple of times. But other than that, I haven't had any experience.
I smelled that and I saw that, and I don't think anyone could tell me it wasn't there. No, it was there, and I smelled it.
Though our video camera failed to detect anything, a still camera discovered something odd. But this time, we wanted to show our evidence to some skeptics, and we found the right group in the Southern California Skeptics, a group dedicated to debunking psychic phenomena. In fact, they have a standing reward of $10,000 to anyone who can prove that there are ghosts. First, they interrogated our video cameraman.
And was this fairly extensive, or was it fairly localized? In other words, what you were attempting to view here, was it something that was confined to a small area?
He seemed to believe it was strongest around that tree. We were picking up, even when we were, say, 100 feet from the tree, we were picking up not as strong as that, but the camera was flashing as well. So then we went over to the tree.
If you wanted to duplicate this yourself, could you? And if so,
only
how?
I would say I would do it in post. I mean, I would do it here or put a double exposure.
Could it be done in the camera? I just say, for example, a magnet. I don't know that. I'm not a physicist.
I have not.
But I know how magnetism affects videotape.
Quite honestly, I have not tried to duplicate it.
Could it? But I'm pretty sure it could be done. Yes.
My comment is that I think this is a matter of self-hypnosis. We have all been heightened to expect more than what there really is there. All I saw was a little flaring of light.
That's all that was seen.
So that can be anything. If I talk you into it, you can say, yes, that was this or that was that.
And then the still photographer showed his pictures.
Here, I saw nothing. If someone were to hand me this photograph irrespective of all the other things and the proof sheets and not knowing what camera was taken with or what film or anything, I would discount this photograph immediately. I would not give this photograph enough time to even warrant a conversation. But I know that since I shot it, that it wasn't taken with a long shutter speed, and if there were extreme camera movement at the time the shutter was open, I would question the fact why only parts of the frame are moving and other parts of the frame aren't.
The skeptic's verdict?
All total, I find it very interesting. I would like to see it done again. I would like to have more information as to about how it was accomplished, but I have no firm opinion as to what it actually is.
The problem is determining whether that was something or just that our minds made it into something.
After that, we returned to the cemetery a third time, and absolutely nothing happened. Who was that woman in the red dress? What was it that we captured on film and tape? Well, as we said earlier, everybody loves a mystery.
Now it's starting to fade a little. Now it's coming up again.
The story of Hamilton Farmer and the ghost in the red dress is a little unsettling. And if you're the least bit squeamish, I urge you to dismiss it. After all, it's only a ghost story. Coming up next, the story of the haunted apartment building right here in LA. There's something happening at the Valentino Apartments.
As he went up the staircase, he saw some shoes on the staircase and some blood dripping down.
The building is almost, well, it's alive, you know?
Ordinary people are seeing extraordinary things.
I think the ghosts are kind of fun. The tenants certainly like them. It gives us something to talk about, and as long as they don't hurt us, it's fine.
Paramount Studios in the late 20s, a sun-washed illusion factory that served as a magnet, attracting and occasionally repelling the talented, ambitious, and hopeful. Those fortunate enough to work needed a place to sleep, and across the street there stood, and still stands, the Valentino Apartments.
I understand that this building was built under the plans given to the owner by Paramount Studios, and the reason they want the building here in the 20s was they wanted some place for their contract players, particularly their women, their starlets. I've been told that in the 30s that the building was substantially filled with stuntmen who, again, worked at Paramount and maybe some of the other studios on Gower Gulch. And that they had some rather wild parties in this place.
But today the building is inhabited by people from every walk of life. People who say that the old residents remain jealous of newcomers.
The most strangest thing that I ever felt in there is a feeling of anger. For some strange reason, I would go into a rage that I couldn't explain to you. I mean, I would just go into a rage for no reason at all.
One night I was working here in the studio, and it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I was in the office. All of a sudden, I hear some footsteps across the rafters upstairs, and I could just hear it coming closer and closer, and finally I just sort of looked up, waiting to see a face, and I didn't see anything, and I just said, well, I'm going to bed now, and I just decided to leave the office.
318 is interesting. I don't know if you call it poltergeist activity or what, but the second tenant back who lived there put candles all up the staircase, going all the way up. And that night, he got up in bed. He was seeing two eyes just staring at him. But several hours later, when he felt that it was gone, he got up and was going to go downstairs, and all the candles were out.
Tenant Mattie McGuire had a nocturnal visitor that made itself feel right at home.
I hadn't quite gone to sleep. I was just at that space right before you go to sleep, and I felt someone sit at the edge of the bed here. And I freaked, but I thought it was, you know, a human being. I had my mace over here, and as I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I felt them lie down in the bed, but very, very quietly, as if that they didn't want to wake me up. Suddenly, it was just like there was nothing there, there was no movement, and I did open my eyes, and there was nothing there.
But surprisingly, the present residents seem to like their ghosts.
It makes me feel a little bit special, kind of. It makes me feel a lot less lonely.
It's like the building has some kind of soul of its own, and we all love it, and people tend to stay for a long time or come back years later. I just last week met someone who was living here in 35 and just came back.
David Kovar was there in 1935, but doesn't remember seeing any ghosts.
The only ghost-like things I ever saw was a girl who ran from upstairs downstairs with a bed sheet thrown over her head and running down off the bedroom, and that happened several times, or even the guys would throw a sheet and run down, maybe chasing her. What caused this action, I don't know.
But obviously something is going on at the Valentino, and we brought Shar, a psychic, to the apartments. She talked with resident Piper Alves about Piper's homegrown spirits.
The spirits that I feel in here are mostly your family and people who love you. Mm-hmm. There are so many different spirits in the building trying to make themselves known that it's difficult to organize each one and say who they are and what they're doing. The spirits who were here in the very beginning, I'm sure, still linger here. So it's this energy that keeps all the artists around.
And to the Valentino's artists and residents, the psychic energy remains, waiting for the next evening to arrive. The Valentino isn't the only place in Hollywood where actors don't know when to take their final curtain. When we come back, we'll meet backstage at a haunted theater. This is a theater of sorts. We're in the Oratorium of Il Vittoriale on Highland Boulevard in Hollywood. Within these walls, an environmental theater piece, Tamara, is performed nightly. But just a few blocks from here, over on Sycamore, one can find the Maskers Club, an old haunt for old actors who don't know they're really dead.
Always there is the overture, the theater's invitation to the unknown. Lights brighten the stage, reality dims. And the curtain opens on the Maskers Club, since 1925 a theater and tavern for actors, and still gathering place for Hollywood veterans. They say the place is haunted by the ghosts of actors past, wandering souls, reluctant to take their final bow, like distant stars, faint, but still shining from some other world.
If you don't believe it, all you have to do is walk through the doors on any night, and the walls will talk to you.
What better place to wonder about ghosts? An old theater, place of memories, illusions, and dreams. Actors are the best storytellers, and ghosts make the best tall tales. Outside the ordinary, between reality and imagination, is the world of the stage, and maybe something otherworldly.
I'm sure Alan Mowbray, the ghost of the Maskers Club, is somewhere close by. I can feel him.
Alan Mowbray. He died in 1968. Members claim he's never really left. On screen, an image still vivid. At the club, just a presence. A gust of wind, a fleeting touch. Less tangible than celluloid, but something.
I was coming down the stairs one night. All of a sudden, I felt a nudge. I looked around. I said, there was nobody there. I have a feeling it was Mowbray stumbling down the stairway. Then I noticed there was some water. I thought it was water, more like scotch, on my sleeve. That's the truth.
And suddenly, from right stage, a white light appeared about so big, and it went all the way across the stage, and then all the way back, stopped and went out. And the thing about it was that none of us had any sense of fear of it. It was just, maybe it was Alan, I don't know. But I shall never forget it.
When the lights go down, the theater goers go home. But the Maskers Club is still alive, with mystery. Out of the wings, they say, come other performers, and the cast becomes the audience.
And I felt it pulling to my left, and I started walking towards my left, and then I felt a stopping, that I should stop, and that I should turn and look to my right. When I did that, I was looking directly at the caricature of Alan Mowbray.
One night, a woman came into the bar looking for the manager and pointed to Alan Mowbray's caricature on the wall. Said, that man is in the theater right now. And we came up, looked at his picture, and the area was ice cold. That's how we know it's him.
Ghosts, if you will, are just people who are not aware that they're dead. And so they come back to the place where they had their best times. And this is one of them.
This is the Maskers Club bar, where actor Alan Mowbray spent his time off stage. He'd like to call his agent here and reminisce about the old Hollywood. Maybe he never left. Maybe he is still here in some unexplainable way. That's the story. Just maybe. It's true.
I felt somebody come up behind me and put their hand on my head. I turned around to see who it was, and there was nobody there. And as I turned to look to see, who was around me, then the hand dropped down to my shoulder. I froze. I was terrified. I don't know why I was terrified. I wasn't alone, but I was scared to death.
There was a drink put on the bar for Alan Mowbray every night. Just left there on the bar, placed on a little napkin, a drink. I was in here alone. I saw the drink on the bar, the glass, with this shot of whatever he drank. And when I came out of the men's room again, the glass was still there, but it was empty. And I was the only person in here.
Alan used to sit at the far end, the second stool from the end of the bar, because it was near the phone, and that was his seat. Well, I was probably the ultimate doubting Thomas, and I said, sure, it's a ghost, right. And as sure as I'm sitting here and as God is my witness, and we were looking at that stool moved about 6 inches across the floor and scooted up to the bar. And I became a believer real quick.
Is it all illusion? The imagination of actors? Ghosts, perhaps. Or only the shadow of memory, the haunting reminder of Hollywood dreams, still alive in the Maskers Club.
This is a very, very warm club. It's an amazing place. You come into it and you feel a presence as soon as you come in. And everybody's welcome here, even ghosts.
I hope you enjoyed our eye on haunted Hollywood tonight. And as Orson Welles once said, this is just our little way of saying, ooh.
was ignoring the signs that we're loving on borrowed